beginning of this church year and the season of Advent is a time of transition. Transition from what was to what will be. And these things are indicated in our scripture readings this morning. Isaiah talks about what was, because he looks back at the mistakes and the sins that the people have made, and he says, we are sinful. We are an unclean people. Our guilt just blows us around like the wind. So in a sense, he's at least taking responsibility for what has been and their mistakes in it. Well, he does later. You might have noticed earlier on, he said, why did you let us go astray? Why did you not protect us? It's all your fault. Nice to be able to blame it on somebody else, isn't it? Except, of course, God doesn't buy that. And then later on in the reading, he takes responsibility, which is what we need to do ourselves, isn't it? To take responsibility for our life. To take a look back this past year and say, how did things go? What worked well? Where did I get lost? Get off the path? What injuries or sickness did we or do we have? And how's the healing going? What have been our hurts? And the forgiveness. What do we still hold in, kind of like as a grudge? It's good, I believe, to take a look at these things, and maybe you can do it at some other time, a little bit longer, to come to know our past, and not only to know it and to claim it, but also to learn from it. If I said, I did this thing about 73 times and it never worked out even once, all right, maybe I need to do something different. And we need to learn, look at the past. Otherwise, we are much more likely to repeat it if we don't learn from it. So it begins, and only begins, this transition, it only begins with taking a look at the past. But Advent is much more about the future. It's much more about what we are looking for. And so I might ask you, what are you looking for anyway? What do you hope for? Now, of course, here I'm not talking about a new cell phone, a new car, or a new outfit. That stuff, it's all going to waste away. Much deeper, for something that lasts. What are we looking for and hoping for? Because if we're not looking for something new and different, if we're not hoping for something more from God, we're likely to miss his presence and his call to us when it comes. We could be saying, oh, it is as it is and it's not ever going to get any better. Well, I don't know who you're talking about. As people of faith, I wouldn't think we'd say that. It only is as it is and there's nothing more. Because with God, there's also more, always more. We heard Jesus say, watch, be watchful, be alert. For God comes, he is coming. How is it that we want, as they said in Isaiah says, to rend the heavens and come down? How do we want God to part the heavens and come to us? Where do we need him most in our life? Now that's a personal question that each one of us needs to answer. Where do we need God most in our lives? And then to be attentive and to watch how God will come to us and offer us the ability to change. We heard Isaiah say, "For God, you are the potter and we are the clay." God is always forming us. "I think I'm formed pretty well right now, so I'm just done. Leave me alone." Again, who's your God? God is always forming us, and he takes the experiences we have in life to form us into someone new, someone different. And it requires from us that we let go some of what we were, and I'm not saying it was necessarily bad, but we let go of who we were, what we did, and he's saying, I might as well try something new here. God's calling me to something new, to a deeper faith, to another way of walking. Where is it in our lives that we need God the most? And how is he calling us to walk differently? Because Isaiah also says, "Eye has not heard, and eye has not seen, and ear has not heard what God can do for those who love him." So I could stand here as I've done 42 years in the past on the first Sunday Advent and say, okay, now Advent's a really a good time of taking a break, preparing for the Lord. Let's not get involved in all this stuff out there because let's wait. But you know what? We got Christmas songs in all the stores and on the radio. We got Christmas decorations up and all around. And we're going to Christmas parties all the time. So there's nothing really that we can do about that. But don't let that fool us. It does not answer the deeper needs of our hearts, does it? It doesn't. Go out and enjoy the parties and go shopping and have a good time. That's all great. But don't get fooled, because there is something in us that we long for. What are we looking for the most? So, Advent season is a time to realize that God hasn't given up on us. Not a one of us has he given up on. And we would be wise not to give up on God, but rather to watch and to wait for his coming in real terms in our lives as they are.